So Nick, you said that the Mastodon guys, they said to you like be yourself. Did you have to change something like I don't know, maybe your guitar tone, the amp seam, like your small things like I don't know your strings, your outfit.
Sure,
like
sure.
they say to you like oh you always to have to wear black.
Sure.
Or you know.
Sure, yeah.
Or
I
the
can
color
talk.
of your
Yeah,
guitar.
I can talk.
You know?
I can talk a little bit about that. Yeah. The only thing, okay, so strings were tuned differently. They're in D standard, or drop C, or drop A, so it gets pretty floppy. So the string gauge has gone up. I can't remember what I'm using, to be honest with you. Maybe a 12. I can't remember.
Whoa,
I can't.
12?
Yeah, I can't remember. But it's tuned down a whole step, so it feels a little bit slinkier. No, as far, I mean, you gotta common sense. Like, I'm not gonna go up on stage with a tie dye shirt on and a long toque with like a kilt on. I don't know. You know what to do, you know. And they'll tell you if you look silly, like, what are you doing? But I usually wear the same thing most days anyways. I just wear cheap Dickies pants and a t-shirt where I cut the sleeves off because it's hot up there, you know. I was wearing a hat for a while to keep the sweat out of my eyes, but we're doing more outdoor shows now, so I just let my hair go flying, and that's cool. Tone-wise, pretty much the same sound I've always used. Bill helped me maybe shape it to be a little more to what the band's looking for. I don't use any pedals. I pretty much plug straight into an amp. I have a tuner.
No
But,
effects.
No
Not
effects.
at all?
No reverb. Nothing. Dry as a bone. Dry as a bone. I don't want to muddy things. You know, and when you have a good monitor engineer and a good front of house engineer, they'll add everything on their own anyways. And I let them kind of control that because they're the pros on that. I just stand there and try to do my best. I try to play Brent's solos. You know, I try to do my best. For the first while in the band, I was kind of just feeling it out and doing whatever, and they were cool with that. But you know, I want to continue his legacy by doing as best I can with his material. I can't sing like Brent either, unfortunately. I wish I could. Eventually, I'll be singing too. But no, I mean, they're such sweet guys. We're all. So I grew up in Toronto, and they grew up just over the border in Buffalo, Rochester, New York, just over the border. So we all kind of come from the same place, similar background in that respect. Just hardworking guys that just want to do a good job, no drama. And if they did want me to change something, I'll change. I can adapt.
Nice.
And how these guys have found you?
I don't know.
No?
I really don't know. No, I believe the whole story is kind of confusing, but I'll keep it brief. I met Ron, the drummer in the band, a long time ago through a friend of mine, and he had heard some of my music, I think, and a lot of my records have these really great drummers on them. I'm very lucky to have worked with some amazing drummers, and I think he might have heard my music because of the drummers that were on the record.
Okay.
And that's pretty cool. I think the one record he heard was called Wide Eyes in the Dark. Pardon me.
Okay. No.
And Benny Greb, the drummer from Germany, plays on that, and he's just this unbelievable drummer. I had Marco Miniman on an album. I had Thomas Lang. Actually, those are all Germans, aren't they? And then Gavin Harrison, Aaron Starling, who's was a Nashville guy, and I think as a drummer, maybe just as a fan of drums, hearing what these guys can do, and then the composition folded into it, may have sparked something, you know. But I don't know. I think maybe again I can thank social media for that.
But did you get a call? Like they call you?
I did get a call. Yeah, I did get a call. Yeah, I was recording some music, and I got a phone call. Yeah, I was in the studio that day I was making that Gavin Harrison record actually, and I had a chat.
How was the call?
Well, I don't want to say too much because
yeah?
I can't say too much, but it was great. It was great. Yeah, it was
Okay.
great. It's great.
So now you have 2 years together?
I started playing with them in the first tour we did was May of last year, so it hasn't quite been a year yet.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a tour with Periphery, opened the tour, and then we played, and then Coheed and Cambria. Do you know that band? Big American kind of metal
know
band.
that
I don't know.
Oh.
No, I
Coheed.
don't
He knows.
Anyways, yeah, they're very popular in that scene. They're quite big. So it was a great first experience. You know, it was arenas and just kind of understanding how to play on a stage that big every night, and understanding. I mean, it's such a heavy thing being in a band like that emotionally because of what's happened in the band too. So you know, you just trying to understand everything and wrap your head around it.
And I saw a video of you saying that you were more like a clinic guy.
I have been doing a lot
And
of that.
then
Yeah.
there's a turning point when you started playing for a huge audience. How do you feel about that? You're nervous on the first time you play like Mastodon.
Well, I remember right before I went on the first show, right before we got on stage, Troy, the bass player, said to me, he came up, he grabbed me by the shoulder, and he was just like, "Don't worry about anything. Just have fun. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just have fun." And thankfully, I don't know if I might have made a mistake, but I probably did. But just getting that confidence, you know, right before you go on stage, by the guy who's the front man of the band it's not him looking back at me and going, "If you screw up, you're gone." Like it was like
fired.
just have fun and this will get better every night. That's how great is that? You know, that's so lovely. It's so warm to hear that. It's such a rare thing to hear that. When most things are often in a professional at that level are driven by fear or a little bit of anger or insecurity, this was driven by let's do the best we can, and I know it's your first show, so it's okay if it doesn't go perfect. But of course, I wanted it to go perfect, and you know it's true though because so Mastodon is very interesting. We have this very big video wall that's playing this incredible movie essentially synced up to every song we play. It's all hand drawn graphics. It's mind blowing, like truly mind blowing. And then we have lasers, and then we have a big drum kit. Braun just playing super hard, singing. Troy singing, big distorted bass tone. Bill's guitar sound is enormous. João's playing the organ, and then I play. So even if you do make a little mistake, you probably won't even hear it, you know. But it's just understanding that and understand, like, what do I do with my arms? Like, how do I pose? Where do I stand? It was all new for me. It was all brand new for me. I'd done a bunch of touring on my own as an instrumental band, usually just a 3-piece or a 4-piece, and I'd stand in the middle and play my songs and do that, and I'd get through it, and I never really enjoyed it because I never really felt I had a good sound. I never had the budget to have the right team of people. I never had a tech. There's never a tour manager. So it was always a compromise. And it sort of got me to a point where I just didn't enjoy it. I really didn't enjoy it. So when I would go out on the road doing guitar clinics for Schecter, it was so fresh and so exciting. And it was kind of in a time in the industry when that really wasn't a thing. Guitar clinics had kind of died. You know, the companies weren't putting budget together for that. They would rather have you make a social media video and get views, right? But there's something is missing to have the person. Do you remember the first concert you saw with a guitar? What was it?
Oh.
Can you both remember what it was?
The first one?
Yeah, what was it?
I remember mine. It was from a Brazilian band called Oficina G3.
Okay.
Okay, so you saw a guitar live. I
Yeah.
spilled water on myself. Shout out to you. What about you? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. My first concert seeing electric guitar like in front of me was G3.
Okay.
Is Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie came out first.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is, oh, chills thinking about it. There's a difference from watching somebody on the internet play because you don't really understand. Like, okay, it could be real, it could be fake, it could be sped up, whatever. I'm not here to talk about that. But there's a different thing from that to seeing somebody in front of you, like in front of you, plugged into an amplifier, playing guitar. It's so jarring when you see somebody playing so well in front of you. You can't believe it at first, you know. I went and saw Pat Metheny last year in Toronto doing an acoustic tour, and just again seeing him. This is only a few this is November, so I just saw him do this. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing, and the fact that I got to see it in person. So anyway, point being, I found that the clinic stuff was so cool because I would get to go up in front of people and talk and play these instruments and demonstrate stuff. It was so satisfying, as opposed to going up and playing an instrumental show where I didn't have a sound I liked and I was just improvising all the time and messing around. I seemed to derive more pleasure out of that hybrid sort of teaching and playing kind of thing. Plus, I had a guitar that had come out and it was doing very well, and the momentum was there. And Schecter as a company is so forward thinking that that's a thing they enjoy doing. In fact, I'm here with Ryan. He's the international man at Schecter, and he goes on the road meeting with all the companies and dealers and distributors, and I get to go with him, and I get to go play guitar, and it's been a very cool way of going through my 30s and my latter 20s. So it's kind of like I have that, which is wonderful. I'm releasing music, and now I get to play in this band, and I get to work in a band with Gavin. So I feel like my cup is overflowing right now, you know. And on top of that, you know, I have a nice home life, and I can be very quiet when I want to be. So it's kind of this whole thing. But I mean, I'll never forget even going to my first clinic I went and saw. It was Billy Sheehan.
Yeah.
Right, and I was pretty young, and as a guitar player, going to see a bass player, because he's kind of like a guitar bass player, you know, and watching him play in front of people and then talk about what he's doing. I was like, that looks so fun, and it looks so satisfying. And he was funny. He was telling jokes. So I was like, I want to do that one day. And then that became my job. And I've got to see the world many, many times over. I've been just about everywhere because of it. And it's a strange side of the industry that not many people know. Like, I know who distributes Schecter in Germany. I know what factories we use. I know how the pickups are made. I know so much about the behind the curtain side of the industry because of that. And now I know the other side as well. So it's kind of like this little skill set I have. And you know what else is really interesting about the guitar clinic stuff, and this is maybe the most important thing, is, you know, when you meet people and they have maybe they're stubborn about a lot of stuff, and they have a very specific opinion about maybe certain things that you go, why does that matter? I've gotten to see the world and get perspective on a lot of stuff. And when I go home, I have a different view of Canada. I have a different view of where I live. Maybe I'm more grateful because I've seen other things, or now I meet people that are different, and I in a position maybe I'm uncomfortable, but I learned to be comfortable in uncomfortable. That has made me such a better person. The side effect of doing these guitar clinics all over the world is you develop this patience and an empathy for people. You start to realize people drove 5 hours to come see you play, and they want to take a picture with you. You just develop all these sensitivities for somebody who's always very, very sensitive. And I'm so grateful to have even had the chance to, you know, you might be in a country where you're uncomfortable, or you might be suffering a little bit, or you're sick. I've been on tour way too many times where I've had either COVID or some deathly illness where you want nothing but to go home to your bed, but it makes you stronger. Maybe not like stronger, but just it makes you feel like, okay, I can do this. And that's something I think we all struggle with. I struggle with it. So it's kind of it's more than just playing guitar.